There's nowhere that I would rather be today. Welcome to our office in uptown Scottsdale. I'm Dr. Douglas Cowan. We provide the finest in neurofeedback and counseling services, and we do hope that you learn from and enjoy this video. Hi, this is Doug Cowan. Welcome back to my office. I'm going to give you a little tip on communication that should help you as parents and certainly will help teenagers if you're all willing to kind of play along for 2 weeks. It can be a very helpful thing. Now, I used to do a seminar every year. It'd be a 6 or 7 week seminar that I called Navigating in the New World. And we talked about what was going on with teenagers and communication and parents. During that time, it was for parents and teenagers. It would all come together for 6 weeks or 7 weeks. We talked about a number of issues. Values, we talk about developmental changes, communication styles, and so on. Just a number of issues. And so one of the things we talked about in the communication seminar was that when things start to go bad in a family, when it starts to be a really uncomfortable place to be for dad, for mom, for the teenagers, that at that point, research has shown that very often about 8 times more negative things are said in the home in the course of a day than positive things. That the speech just starts to be getting more nitpicking, more nagging, more making fun of people by putting them down, and so on. Just gets to be more negative. So one of the things that I would do to help with that was a very simple thing. I'd ask them to do a little science project for a week. And so the first week, I gave everybody a 3x5 card. And then I asked them to write on the 3x5 card, just simply draw a line down the middle and put either a plus sign or a negative sign, a minus sign on the card. That's it. It's pretty simple. Just do that. And then carry the card with you, and through the course of the week, just keep track of what comes out of your mouth. Not what comes out of anybody else's mouth, just what comes out of your mouth. Now, in this science project, there are 3 different things that you can say, 3 kinds of things. Positive things that build people up, negative things that tear people down, or neutral things like, please pass the salt. So forget the neutral things. Just do you say things that build somebody up? Do you say something that is mean or tears somebody down or whatever? And just keep track, keep your scorecard over the course of a week, bring it back the next week. And of course, as soon as we do that, as soon as people have it in their pockets, as soon as people start keeping track, they start to change. And that's a good thing. That usually in 1 week, when I wasn't asking them to do anything except keep track, usually what was said started to change pretty radically. And it can in your home as well. So then the second week, then I would ask the family to do this. I would say, try to make your speech so that it's twice as many positive things as negative things come out of your mouth. Just 2 to 1. Just go for that. 2 to 1. And of course, at that point, they're already pretty much 50-50, and then going to 2 to 1 is pretty easy. And the culture, the vibe in the house starts to change at that point, because people are looking for opportunities to say nice things to somebody. Thank you, I appreciate it. Did that really well. That's a great start. Let's keep working on it. Let's see how good we can make this, because I know you can do a great job, and so on. So I know this can help you and your family as well. Again, simple tool. It's pretty easy. Keep it in your pocket. Don't track other people. Just pay attention to what you're doing. And remember, parents, a couple of things. One of the things I've noticed through the many, many years of talking with families is that as parents, we tend to have higher expectations for our teenagers or children than we have for ourselves. There's a lot of our own behavior that we will excuse in us, our own behavior, that we would never excuse in our kids. We would never excuse in our teenagers. So for ourselves, we just say things like, oh, I'm tired, or I didn't have my coffee yet, or, I worked really hard today, and whatever. And we make excuses. But then we punish our kids and teenagers for the very same thing. Can't do that anymore. We need to have higher expectations for ourselves, because we're the grown-ups, than we have for our children and teenagers, because they are just on their way to becoming grown-ups. So that's one thing I want to remind you of. There's an ancient scripture, comes out of the Bible, Ephesians, Paul's letter to the Ephesians, chapter 4, toward the end. Paul writes these words. They're great. They're great for your marriage. They're great for all of your relationships. They're great for being parents. It's great. He says, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what's helpful for building other people up according to what they need, so it can benefit the listener. Okay, this is 2,000 years old writings, but he starts with the grandmother principle. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's where he starts. But then he goes on to explain it too. Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what's helpful for building up another person, that person that you're in front of. What will help to build them up according to what they need? What do they need? I guarantee your 4-year-old needs something a lot different than your 14-year-old or your 18-year-old or your spouse or your next door neighbor or coworker. Everybody needs something different in order to be encouraged, built up, help them to move forward, be their cheerleader. So don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what's helpful for building other people up according to what they need, so it benefits them, it helps them, it encourages them. So I want to leave you with that, and this little encouragement here, the 3x5 card. If you would like to buy these from me, I sell them for about $40 each. Not really. But you can just run down to your local Albertsons, buy yourself a pack of 3x5 cards, and it can start to change your family, change your child's world. Within 2 weeks, it can make a huge difference. All right, I'm Dr. Doug Cowan. Thanks for coming to my office. Thanks for listening to this lesson on communication.